Welcome back, focused learners. Today's explainer is an absolute must-watch study guide explicitly tailored for your Islamiyat 2058 Paper 1 Question 2. We are breaking down exactly how Islamic law adapts to modern times using pure foundational principles. If you've ever wondered how ancient laws could possibly address things like online day trading or space travel, you are in the right place. We're going to map out both the primary sources and the practical applications to perfectly satisfy your Part A and Part B exam requirements. So, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Demystifying Ijma, 2. The power of consensus, 3. Decoding Qiyas, and 4. Analogies in the modern world. Let's jump right in. Section 1. Demystifying Ijma, the first tool of secondary law. Okay, so what happens when a brand new issue pops up that isn't explicitly addressed in the primary sources of the Quran or Sunnah? Well, scholars turn to Ijma. Simply put, Ijma means consensus. Think of it like a classroom where 100 people unanimously agree to, say, hold a Saturday class. Everyone is entirely on the same page. In Islamic jurisprudence, Ijma is when scholars reach a unified, mutual consensus to solve a totally new legal problem that they just can't find a direct prior ruling for. Now, to really nail Part A of your exam, you absolutely need to provide strict Quranic authority here. You can't just invent laws, right? You need divine backing. The Quran explicitly commands believers to obey people of authority, which directly refers to Islamic scholars and leaders. Plus, it commands Muslims to conduct their affairs by mutual consultation. Literally, this is the foundational bedrock of Ijma. And to perfectly round out the authorities for that Part A answer, we've got to look at the Hadith. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gave a really profound assurance. He said, "My community will never agree upon an error." He essentially guaranteed that when the scholarly community conducts this mutual consultation on legal matters, their unified decision is protected from being wrong. They are also commanded to avoid the branching path, meaning once a consensus is reached, the whole community sticks together on that ruling. Moving on to Section 2, the power of consensus, from history to today. Historically speaking, Ijma was utilized brilliantly. During the prophetic era, a Shura council sat down and reached a mutual consensus on Salman Farsi's idea to dig a trench for defense, may Allah be pleased with him. Later, during the times of the first caliphs, Abu Bakr and Uthman, may Allah be pleased with them, scholars used Ijma to agree on compiling the Quran into a single standard form using the Qurayshi dialect. And it definitely didn't stop there. They established a second adhan so distant travelers wouldn't miss Friday prayers, and during Omar's caliphate, may Allah be pleased with him, they agreed upon 20 rakats for Taraweeh to really encourage community worship. All right, let's tackle the Part B requirement, the practical, modern application. We see how Ijma provides vital stability for us today. Scholars have actually formed a consensus to adapt to completely unprecedented issues. We're talking about declaring terrorism, suicide bombing, and even modern cigarettes as definitively haram. It also handles logistical stuff, like setting local community timings for Jummah and Eid prayers. It even stretches out to the literal frontiers of science, like reaching a consensus on exactly how a Muslim astronaut should pray in space. How cool is that? All right, Section 3, Decoding Qiyas, the science of analogy. So you might be wondering, what happens if an issue is so new that there just isn't a consensus yet? That is where scholars turn to Qiyas, which means analogical reasoning. When a brand new problem arises, scholars don't just guess. No, they compare the new issue to an old, established case found in the Quran and Sunnah. They're looking for shared material characteristics to derive a fair, accurate ruling. And once again, for that Part A answer, you need the backing authority. The Quran explicitly commands people of insight to use their intellect and contemplate the signs around them. Furthermore, there's a famous hadith where the Prophet, peace be upon him, sent Mu'adh bin Jabal to Yemen as a governor, may Allah be pleased with him. When asked how he would judge if a matter wasn't in the Quran or the Sunnah, Mu'adh stated he would strive to form his own opinion using his intellect. And the Prophet highly praised him for this. It's a clear, direct permission for using analogical reasoning. So the crucial point here is mastering this exact four-step process of deduction. To perform Qiyas, you absolutely need 4 things. First, the Ast, that's an original text or ruling from the Quran or Sunnah. Second, the Far, the brand new case or problem you're dealing with. Third, the Ila. This is the core, common similarity or characteristic shared between the old and new case. And finally, step 4, the Hook, the brand new ruling that you derive. Which brings us to Section 4, Analogies in the Modern World, Qiyas in Action. Let's look at how this brilliantly illustrates the concept. The Quran outlaws wine, so that's our asl, our original case. Our modern problem, the farra, is drugs like meth, heroin, or ice. Obviously, those aren't mentioned by name in ancient texts, but we look for the illa, the common link. Both wine and modern drugs cause intoxication. They alter the mind. Because of that exact shared characteristic, the hukm, or ruling, is applied seamlessly. Modern drugs are definitively haram. Let's look at another really fascinating example regarding daily rituals. The Prophet, peace be upon him, once instructed Hazrat Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, to remove dried bread flour from her nail so she could properly perform wudu, ensuring the water actually reached her skin. That's the original case. Today, the new case is modern nail polish. So what's the illa, the common link? Well, both dried flour and nail polish physically block water in the exact same way. Therefore, analogical reasoning dictates the new ruling. Nail polish must also be removed for a valid wudu. Even ancient commerce laws adapt perfectly through Qiyas. The Quran explicitly commands believers to halt physical trade and commerce during Friday Jummah prayers. Now, today, you might not be in a physical marketplace. You might just be tapping on an app on your phone. But the illah, that distraction from mandatory prayer, remains exactly the same. Thus, the ruling seamlessly extends to modern distractions, like withdrawing money from an ATM or day trading on your smartphone right during the sermon. So, to summarize for your exam evaluation, here is your definitive Part B conclusion. Both Ijma and Qiyas are the dynamic engines of Islamic jurisprudence. They step in to resolve legal disputes when the Quran and Sunnah offer no direct, specific guidance on a new issue. They ensure stability and consistency across entirely different times, places, and cultures. It proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Islamic law is not frozen in time. It is a developing, dynamic system entirely capable of guiding modern society. It's just such a fascinating system, right? One that literally never stops evolving. It's anchored in ancient divine truth, yet it's actively solving today's problems. Looking at how beautifully these systems work, it leaves us to wonder, with the rapid rise of artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and digital realities, how will these centuries-old frameworks of Ijma and Qiyas tackle the incredible ethical dilemmas of our fast-approaching future? Keep that in mind as you study. Thanks for watching this explainer, and good luck on your exams.